In the tumultuous landscape of war-torn Europe, a formidable force emerged to challenge the seemingly unstoppable German might. Desperation gripped the Allied forces, and amidst the chaos, a daring plan was conceived by none other than Winston Churchill himself. Together with his chief of combined operations, they devised a covert unit like no other, a commando team composed of Jewish refugees. The war wasn't going well for the Allies in 1941. They were being pushed back on all fronts, and on the 22nd of June of 1941, the Germans launched the most massive land invasion the world has ever seen, Operation Barbarossa. In this dark, turbulent period of World War II, the Special Air Service, SAS, was born as a daring concept to strike back against the German forces. British Army officer David Stirling conceived the idea of a specialized force to perform unconventional and daring operations deep behind enemy lines in North Africa. He envisioned a unit that could conduct reconnaissance, sabotage, and harassment missions to disrupt Axis forces and create confusion. Originally called Special Air Service Brigade. Stirling's proposal was met with skepticism initially, but he persisted and eventually gained support. The L Detachment was officially formed in July of 1941, with its first members drawn from various regiments, including the Scots Guards, Welsh Guards, and parachute-trained soldiers. These hand-picked soldiers underwent rigorous and demanding training in unconventional warfare, survival skills, and parachuting. The group made its mark during the desert campaigns in North Africa. Employing hit-and-run tactics, they targeted enemy airfields, supply lines, and communications with exceptional skill and audacity. The successes garnered attention, and the unit size grew, leading to the creation of additional regiments. In 1941, Winston Churchill and his Chief of Combined Operations were convinced by the effectiveness of this unique commando unit, consisting of brave and Commonwealth soldiers. And they ordered the unit to grow, giving them audacious missions to disrupt enemy lines, undertake covert operations, and unleash chaos behind German positions. The SAS emerged as an elite force, combining specialized training, unmatched resilience, and a touch of audacity, laying the foundation for one of the most renowned special forces in history. One unit of SAS soldiers was unlike any other. It consisted of German Jews. They were survivors of the darkest horrors of humanity. Escaping from the clutches of concentration camps in Germany and Austria, they found refuge in the United Kingdom. But fate had other plans for them. Labeled as enemy aliens by the British in the beginning of the war, they were interned in faraway lands like Australia and Canada, enduring unimaginable hardships. For them, this war was personal. The Nazis had stolen their families, their homes, and their innocence. Their thirst for vengeance was unquenchable, and they would stop at nothing to strike back at the heart of the Nazi menace. With the creation of foreign SAS units, they grabbed this opportunity and volunteered for this elite unit. And thus, X Troop was born. A clandestine group of warriors combining razor-sharp counterintelligence with lethal combat skills and the unimaginable desire for revenge. A deadly blend. This is the story of the real-life heroes behind X Troop, the true embodiment of the legendary Inglourious Bastards. Their story is one of bravery, resilience, and the sheer tenacity to confront evil in its most malevolent form. After selection or volunteering for this new elite unit, men are brought to London to be interviewed by MI5, British intelligence. They are told that they will be taking the fight directly to the Nazis and that the work will be extremely dangerous. Understanding the risk, they hold no value to it because they had nothing to lose. Hitler has to be stopped at all costs, so every man volunteers. As one of the commandos, Peter Terry, later said, "We were all looking forward to the killing." The unit's name was bestowed by Churchill himself, who noted, "Because they will be unknown warriors, they must be considered an unknown quantity. Since the algebraic symbol for the unknown is X, let us call them X Troop." To operate covertly behind enemy lines, the X-Troopers underwent a remarkable and largely untold transformation. As Jewish refugees, their lives were in constant danger, making it essential to conceal their identities and adopt British personas. This drastic measure ensured their safety, as being identified as Jews would mean certain death if captured. Upon joining X Troop, each member was allotted a brief moment to select a new, British-sounding name. Cutting ties with their past was imperative. Personal letters were burnt, anything bearing their names discarded, and they crafted fabricated stories of British heritage. In the event of casualties, these artificial British identities would become their lasting legacy, with dog tags indicating the Church of England. Fallen Jewish refugees would find their final resting places marked with crosses. To become elite operatives, ex-troopers underwent grueling training in Wales and Scotland, honing their skills for the dangerous missions ahead. This intense process shaped them into an extraordinary force, ready to face the perils of war with their newly established identities and unyielding determination. Before the war, George Lane, originally named Lungi Georgi, was known as the Hungarian Hunk and served as an alternate for the Hungarian Olympic water polo team. However, during his time as an ex-trooper, he embarked on a highly classified mission in France, just weeks before D-Day. His remarkable intelligence gathering skills provided crucial information to the Allied leadership, allowing them to proceed with the planned landings. During a subsequent mission, George was captured and subjected to interrogation by none other than Field Marshal Rommel himself. Remarkably, Rommel had no idea that the brave British soldier before him was, in fact, a Jewish refugee from Budapest. George's ability to maintain his cover under such intense scrutiny demonstrated his unwavering courage and commitment to the ex-troops' mission. His actions and sacrifices contributed significantly to the Allied efforts during World War II, leaving an indelible mark on history. One of George Lane's fellow ex-troopers was Ian Harris, actually named Hans Ludwig Hayos, a German Jewish exile. Harris became an ex-troop legend by single-handedly capturing an entire German regiment with nothing but a Tommy gun and a huge amount of courage. Towards the end of the war, when Allied troops would cross the Rhine, Hayos fought fiercely, being awarded the military medal for his efforts. One of the most incredible figures of the battle was Manfred Ganz, nom de guerre Fred Gray. He was 16 when his parents sent him to England, fearing for his life as a Jew in Nazi Germany, and when war broke out, he clamored to join the British Armed Forces. Finally, he was accepted, his fluency in German earning him a spot with a secret commando unit. And with that, Manfred Ganz set off on a mission to find his parents, killing, capturing, and interrogating countless Nazis, and seizing crucial German beach defenses. Despite the repeated risk he took, Ganz would survive fighting through France, into Holland, Belgium, and eventually Germany. In March of 1945, he helped free his hometown, the ancient walled city of Borken, where he had been born on April 27th of 1922. His house, on the outskirts of town, had been used as a Nazi headquarters. The wine cellar was a torture chamber. His parents, Moritz and Else Frankel Ganz, had been taken away. Determined to find them despite uncertain survival, Mr. Ganz sought permission for leave from his superiors. Equipped with a jeep and a driver, they embarked on a perilous journey across vast stretches of German-held territory. Ganz' father, being a respected merchant and the first Jew on the Borken City Council, likely meant his parents were taken to Theresienstadt, a propaganda-laden concentration camp. While not a death camp, it transported thousands to gas chambers, and many perished from starvation. In May of 1945, crossing into Czechoslovakia, they approached the barbed wire fences of Theresienstadt near Prague. Russian troops, who had already liberated the camp, allowed them entry, revealing a haunting sight: a mass of weak and desperate people struggling to move. Navigating the camp's records, a young girl confirmed his fortune. His parents were alive. She prepared them for an emotional reunion. As they stepped outside, Mr. Ganz was stunned by his father's emaciated state. Overwhelmed with emotion, they embraced, their reunion marked by tears and astonishment at their improbable survival amidst such harrowing circumstances. Among the secret commandos of X-Troop, these are merely a few of the extraordinary tales. Countless others will forever remain untold, concealed within the ranks of the 87 brave men who served. Tragically, over half of them endured the ultimate sacrifice, falling in battle or vanishing into obscurity without a trace. Despite their remarkable achievements, even those whose astonishing deeds have been revealed have not received the recognition they rightfully deserve. The legacy of these unsung heroes remains largely unknown, their valor and heroism shrouded in the shadows of history. If you want to know more about the Second World War, click here to learn about the mass murderer of Auschwitz, Josef Mengele. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for watching Untold History.